Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to this Resurrection Sunday, where basically we do something to care for ourselves in appreciation to the great sacrifice of Jesus dying on the cross for us. And so today we are continue our series, which is the 90-day destiny transformation, where we are starving our past and our history, and also accepting the life that Christ died for us to have, and also capitalizing on our purpose and our passion that Christ sanctified and ordained us for before our creation. And so I believe this is number 77 of the 90-day series. And so I thought that I would talk about some of the hard things that we have to do in parenting. And I'm not talking about parenting our children. I'm talking about in parenting ourselves. Um, so if that sounds like something that's interesting to you, please stay along. And while you at it, please share the video, encourage subscription, like, comment. Um, yeah. So for those of you who do not know, my name is H.U.L.A, and I am the founder of H.U.L.A Ministries Entertainment and Associates Inc. And on this YouTube, we are Overcomers Anonymous, where we support anyone desiring to overcome anything. We do it with Jesus Christ being our higher power, and also what He's accomplished for us on the cross. Therefore, our completeness, our wholeness, our cleanliness, our forgiveness, the things that we thought were impossible becomes possible with Jesus Christ being our higher power. So I have here 7 hard things that we have to do in parenting ourselves. And remember, today's Sunday, so we talk about things that we have to do to care for ourselves. And one thing I realized as being a parent myself is that sometimes we had to do things that was correspond with who we are as a person, but other things, times we needed the grace of God to help us to do some of the hard stuff to our children, to help them to grow and to develop. Now, a lot of times when I would make a change, as far as like, say when I got rid of the pacifier or a bottle or something like that, I would do it like starting with on a Friday when I was off from work, and that way I could listen to the whining and crying for a couple of days. And hopefully by Monday, the baby would have been sleeping to where I can get some sleep and prepare to go to work for the coming week. And so one of the things that's prompting this for me is that with it being Sunday and the day that we talked about caring for ourselves, but also I got a call from one of my love daughters, and she was telling me that her baby was not sleeping through the night, and that he's basically using her as a tat, and that it's worse when he's sick. And so she was asking me basically, did I have any tips? And of course, I mean, I have been doing parenting basically since I was 9. I helped my sisters with their children, my older sisters, and then I became a mother myself at 14. I had a daycare where I had 9 kids at a time, including their parents, you know. So, of course, I have tips, you know. And so a lot of times they would ask me, like, Miss Sheila, how in the world do you get all the kids to sleep all at one time? Okay, so I have a lot of tricks up my sleeves for stuff like that. But anyhow, check out my other YouTube, which is The Pursuit to Christ, and the playlist on that one, and this YouTube, which is H.U.L.A Ministries Overcomers Anonymous. And so basically what I would do is the babies would come in the morning, and if they were sleepy, they would be rocking and nodding and everything, and I would let them go to sleep for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I would wake them up, and then all I would do is keep changing their environments. I may read to them for a while, I may sing to them, I feed them, I would do all kinds of stuff until it was nap time. Then it was nap time, and then I would let them go off to sleep, and then they would sleep the whole 3 or 4 hours for nap time. That was part of that trick. But anyhow, today we're not talking about children. We're talking about ourselves as adults. And so what I realize is that, you know, for us as being God-fearing people and becoming sons and daughters of the Most High God, God encourages us to be obedient because he wants us to have the best that he offers, and also he encourages us to have faith, to trust him with all of our hearts and lean not to our own understanding, and to be courageous and to be bold. Okay, so like I said, I have 7 things here for which that I'm going to be discussing this evening. So all right, so the first thing is, sometimes as adults and parenting ourselves, we have to believe in something that we have never ever seen before. And so, this channel is basically about overcoming addictions, like any kind of addictions, okay, or any behavior that you want to change. It doesn't necessarily have to be an addiction. But however, so one of the big things that we believe in is that we can overcome, the hard things like an addiction that we haven't been able to overcome, or even to forgive. Forgiveness was a big thing. I had 2 huge things that I was dealing with, and so far, God has helped me, to be delivered. But I've been dealing with those things for like 20 years, but it's only been recently where the Lord has given me the grace to find something in me, to find something in my past that was great as what was done to me, or greater. And trust me, it was humbling to help me to forgive. So the first thing is believing that we can do something that we never did before. Okay, so all right, the second thing is basically making a choice for salvation. And that sounds easy. But when it gets to the point where we have to deny ourselves, because the Bible says that Christ says, if we will come after him, we must deny ourselves, take up our cross, and follow him. Now we know that his cross he had the sins of all humanity on him. And as a result of what he came for, to set us free, to heal us, deliver us, and all the things he's doing, connect us back up with God, reconcile us back with God, all the things that he came for. So basically, in order for him to partake of heaven again after being brought here from heaven, excuse me for a second, he had to face his cross. He couldn't go around it. He couldn't go under it. He had to face it head on. And the way that he was able to overcome it, excuse me, the way that he was able to overcome it and accomplish what he came here for was that he trusted in God, held on to God, pleaded with God, even in times where he felt like God had left him. He still did good, obeyed and did good before God. So, all right, now the third thing is saying yes when we would otherwise want to say no. Like, for example, I need water bad. Sometimes, excuse me, sometimes we have those situations where, in caring for ourselves, that maybe, we may be tired, we may not feel like reading a word for the night, we may not even feel like brushing our teeth or taking a bath for the night. But because we want to properly care for ourselves, we push ourselves to say, yes, I will do this. And we do it. The other thing is, like, sometimes saying no when we were otherwise want to say yes. Like sometimes, like hanging out with like old friends that is not going to do anything but like bring you into something that God has delivered you from, or taken you away from, or causing you to lower a standard that you will otherwise upheld. So sometimes we have those situations that, that we're forced as parents, parents to ourselves, to say no when we want to say yes. Sorry, y'all. All right. Okay, so sometimes we have to take away certain comforts, and One thing I thought about in taking away comfort, and this is what I thought about with kids, like having to take away that pacifier and that bottle. That's something that you can do like over the weekend. However, when it came to toilet training, that was something a little bit longer and drawn out. But getting the pacifier, you could throw that in the trash on a Friday. They would cry probably a couple nights, and then by Sunday night, they'll be ready to sleep because they'd be good and cried out and tired. And so basically the same thing with us. A lot of times, like say for example, if we're a smoker, we're used to like taking a smoke after a meal, taking a smoke, when we first get up in the morning, the last smoke before going to bed or whatever the situation is, okay? For me, it's like with food, like if I had a great day or something, and I have a way of like, when I prepare a meal and it goes over well, if I prepared it for someone, to share with me or something, when they leave, I'll have a little bit later, like to celebrate. So basically, like to deny ourselves of certain comforts, especially when it's a comfort that is, you know, either for the long run or immediately just not good for us. Okay. Um, the other thing is like, and this is number 6, basically, a lot of times when we choose Christ, a lot of times when we choose a life, having a higher standard, or choosing a life of sobriety, we lose some people. Some people might feel like we think that we're better. There may be some naysayers that say, okay, but you're going to leave, but you're going to be back because you're not going to be able to carry on that lifestyle that you're trying to live, think that you're better than somebody else. And so, a lot of times we have to wait on God, so that he can bring us into healthy friendships, associates, so that's just a way of like, as parents, sometimes we can see when our children may have been accepting the wrong friendships in people. And so basically we will have those times with ourselves as being parents to ourselves, that we will have to choose the type of people that we will allow in our lives as friends. Okay, the last thing I have is basically taking the time to rest. When a lot of times people may call on us to come out and celebrate with us, to do a particular favor for them, or any other reason why, we would have to like do something for another person. And we may be tired, we may be sleepy, we may be needing a rest, we may not even be feeling good. And rather than to push ourselves to go past, our limit, we decide to parent ourselves and allow ourselves the rest that we so desperately need. Okay, so basically that's all I have for you. Today is Sunday, so basically it's the first day that I can talk about my food fundraisers. Remember to check that out. God has blessed me to make them finger licking good. I have an alternative for almost everything. Not everything, I wish, but almost everything. God has helped me to make them finger licking good and also reasonably priced. So you can check out my contact information in the description, which is the arrow next to the title. And if you want to comment, you can scroll down below and you can make a comment, you can ask a question, you can leave a topic, that you want me to explore and present, or you can just say hello. Either way, I would love to hear from you. So comment and let me know whether or not this was helpful to talk about, and which part of the 7 hard things that we have to do in parenting ourselves was your favorite, the one that you struggle with, the one that you don't struggle with, and just how you're doing with this. I love you. This is all I have for you. Now unto him that is able to keep you from falling and to present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy, to the only wise God our Savior be glory and majesty, dominion and power both now and ever. I love you. See you in the next YouTube.